13 of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery. On the fly as I'm doing some other things. Okay, so I have cut out these little bits and pieces, and I have sewn. So here we go. This is where I'm up to. So I've ironed these ones down. Now what I find interesting is that you iron things, you do things, right? So you learn something and you're doing something new. So this has got to be ironed down. This has got to be ironed down. But this one's got, all right, so there's enough here to iron this one down. There's probably enough there to get at least some of this ironed down and then just embroider. And then this one, that will be okay. So it's only this one that needs a bit of ironing. If not, if I do it, let me get this off. So yes, what I find interesting is that we can be doing something, whether it might be new, it might be something we're doing that's new to us, because we're learning. And what I find is I'll be making my mind up about something to do as still a relative novice in terms of how all this stuff goes. And someone on another channel that I watch that I've learnt from will say something like, well, of course, if you do everything like this with the heat and bond or the bonder web, it can look very flat. And so I put these down and I was thinking it is a bit flat, but I'm thinking I'll be embellishing. And Anne on Anne's channel on the September, I'm really behind on the tag roulette, mentioned that it can look very three-dimensional or two-dimensional, flat, if you use bonder web on everything. And I was like, well, actually, look how beautifully, how that looks. And then look how sort of ironing it down like this has made it very neatly ironed and flattened. So thanks for that, Anne. Nevertheless, I've decided this is what I'm doing in this one. I'm just going to get my iron and heat it up. So yeah, that's it's good how that happens. I call that synchronicity, actually. This is still heating up a bit. It's a way of learning, isn't it? It's like, oh, I actually was seeing that, and then someone mentioned it. Anne mentioned it. Not sure this is heated up quite enough yet. It's starting. Honestly, this sure has gone on a long time, this particular panel. Be up to October by the time it's finished. Right. However, it's been a pretty good process and a good learning process. Turn my iron off. Move it somewhere safe. So now, this part of course won't be bonder webbed down, but at least they're down enough that I can sew around edges. And this needs some little flowers in this little flower box. And I thought I'd put a little baby button there from a doll, you know, doll button, doll's clothes button. So what do I want? Something a bit colourful. Having a look what's... I always like halfway through a project to see if there's anything threaded up that I can use, ready to go. a row of French knots here to be like a little flower box. So I'm bringing back that red again. This one broke all the rules that I made. I've used the variegated alpaca thread throughout this particular house, through the windows, just to give it a slight bit of difference. I've put the red on here and I've used the variegated on the bottom of this. So that one doesn't look like it's stuck down very well. Alright, a couple of more little French knots. This is also helping to get it attached. Okay, this needs to go here. I think I should cease and desist with the red now, otherwise it's going to be a little bit too much when I'm aiming for all blue, which got totally messed up on this page. Never mind. I just want to secure down some of these edges. I mean, on the last one I ended up having Suffolk puffs with, got 2 knots. I ended up having Suffolk puffs with bits stuffed with wadding, and so it made it very, very textured. This one's very flat but far more complicated. Just using a slightly different blue. Here. Because I could stuff them if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. Just going to do a running stitch along the base. So this is how I'm getting them down. Now I'm going to go around the outside of this, probably with a thread like this. Then I have to start embellishing. So what I'm going to do is go off camera, just go around the edges of these just to make sure they're secured. You don't want to watch that, that's just boring. And then start embellishing, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so I've got them all down. I've just done some stitches that are bigger, some much thinner, some that are matching the colour that's behind, and a lot of them are just invisible stitches to get them down, just to secure them. Now I'm working on this fence. So here's my original picture. So it's just a fence. Just some lines really. And I'm running it along the contour of the road. I think I might just trying to work out whether I want to do 2 lines. Let me have a look how it looks. That's all right with me. So I might just do maybe a back stitch. Didn't mean to split that stitch actually. Try and do it to the opposite side of the fence line and then to the inside of this line. So to the outside of that fence post and then to the inside of that fence post. Now I've actually come right down to here in my picture, and this little house, it looks like it's a very long, tall, thin house rather than half a house like it's meant to, but that doesn't matter. I think I will not do it down to there, but I'm going to carry it on up here, I think. Just for perspective, I'm just thinking I have to make them look smaller, shorter and more close together as it's getting further away. So let's just do that there. Okay. Now I put little white balls on this tree so as it gave it a wintry Christmas element, and then I started to put a little bit of white on the top of this roof. I think that I didn't want to go overboard with snow, but I think that it's so sparse that it's got a bit of a wintry feel. Even the flowers, I realised, I don't really want to go overboard with the flowers, because I was thinking if I start to do spring flowers, I'm probably going to get carried away and do lots of spring flowers everywhere. So now I'm just thinking, what am I doing here? Am I doing a little fountain, something to fill this big gap of a space? I don't know if I'm going to. I'll see here. That could come right off the page there, a bit more. Just been thinking about maybe some patterns on the roofs. But this is where I'm up to for now. So I just thought I'd end this video. I've decided to do a running stitch all the way through these layers. Just to secure them all and get the pins out. What I'm thinking of doing is doing row after row and just filling up this entire area. I might get down to here and stop, I'll just wait and see. But as this is very long, this is going to be a definite in front of the TV moment. So this will be perfect because I've got a friend coming to stay and I can just do this without worrying too much about not being focused on it. If you know what I mean, like I won't have to be completely and utterly focused. I'll be able to still have a conversation. That's a perfect project to do when someone's visiting. So this is what I'm going to do, go all the way along to this end bit. And I've still, I know I've sewn that down, but because I've got that extra panel, unless a couple of the prompts can be done on one panel and smallish, I'm not going to put my January on here, my July on there, just in case. Just in case I need to add another page. Anyway, this is what I'm going to do. Row after row. Till it's all down. I've decided to use a big Shishiko needle so I can just get a lot in one go. Okay, so this is what I'm going to be doing for the next bit of time, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'm nearly getting there with the little village, still a bit to do. I'll keep you up to date as I go along. Okay, I'll go off and do all of this. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.